Hey there, and welcome. In our digital world, there's this constant tug of war going on, right? It's between making things fast and making things safe. It's a conflict that leads to a lot of frustration. But what if we've been looking at this whole thing the wrong way? Let's start with a feeling I bet is pretty familiar.
Does that sound familiar? Maybe you've heard it from a coworker, or, let's be honest, maybe you've thought it yourself. Yeah, it's that feeling, right? When a system just seems to be putting up barriers for no reason. And it doesn't stop there, does it? Sometimes it really feels like you're just navigating this invisible maze of rules and restrictions, and every little one seems to slow you down, adding another bit of friction to your day. And then, bam, you hit a wall. On something so simple, something you do 100 times a day, and suddenly you can't. It's so frustrating, and you can't help but feel like the system is actively working against you. But what if all that frustration is just a big misunderstanding? What if those walls, that friction, that feeling of being blocked, aren't bugs at all? What if they're features? Today, we're going to reframe this whole debate, not as a problem of limitation, but as a masterpiece of design.
To really get this, I want to tell you a story. It's a pretty simple story, really. It's about two incredible architects who are given the exact same job: build a great hall to protect a company's most valuable treasures.
Okay, so the first architect, she was all about speed, elegance, flow. She designed what everyone started calling the Glass Palace. The second architect, though, he valued strength, resilience. He built what they called the Fortress. Right from the start, their philosophies were completely different.
And wow, the Glass Palace was something else. Just breathtaking. You could just glide right in, doors sliding open before you even got there. Inside, you could go anywhere, grab anything, move treasures from room to room, and not a single guard would ever ask you a question. People loved it. They said it was the smoothest, fastest, most amazing system they'd ever used. Totally frictionless.
Now, the Fortress, that was a different story. It felt heavy, deliberate. To even get in, you had to be verified at this huge, heavy gate. Inside, some doors needed a second key. You couldn't just copy a blueprint and walk out with it. And yeah, people complained, a lot. They called it slow, restrictive. They'd look over at that shiny glass palace and just wish their architect cared more about speed.
For a long time, things went on like this. The people in the glass palace were happy. The people in the fortress were secure. But then, one night, a storm came. And this wasn't a rainstorm. It was a storm of thieves, of hackers, designed to find every weakness and break everything in its path.
So what happened? That beautiful glass palace, with its open doors, it stood no chance. The storm just ripped right through it. Everything was lost, in an instant. But the fortress, well, the storm hit the walls hard, but the gates held. The bad guys couldn't even get past the first checkpoint. Inside, the core, all the treasures, were completely safe. So it turns out, the very thing that felt slow was actually what made it strong.
So that story, it's not really about buildings, is it? It's the perfect metaphor for our digital world. And it brings us to this really key idea. What we think of as slow is, well, it's kind of an illusion. It's a misunderstanding of what's really happening. That little pause you feel, it's not a bug. The system isn't broken. It's a security process in action. Think of it like the guards at the fortress gate, just taking a quick second to check your ID, make sure everything's okay before waving you through.
You know that MFA prompt that pops up? That's the system making sure it's really you. That extra second it takes for your profile to load, that's the system carefully building your secure workspace just for you. None of these things are roadblocks. They're the guards. They're the reinforced walls. They're the watchful eyes of the fortress, all working to keep you safe.
This leads us to the real moral of the story, and it's a big one. That friction, the thing that feels annoying, it's actually a sign of strength. Let me show you what I mean with a few real-world examples. Just think about a seatbelt for a second. Does buckling up make your car faster? Nope, of course not. It takes a couple of seconds. It even restricts you a bit. But if things go wrong, that little bit of friction is literally what saves your life.
Or how about a bike helmet? It's not the most comfortable thing in the world, right? And it definitely doesn't make you pedal any faster. But it's protecting the most important thing you've got.
And for the last one, just picture a huge bank vault door. It's massive, it's heavy, and it is designed to be slow. Nobody ever walks up to a bank and complains that the vault door opens too slowly. Why? Because we all get it. Its job isn't speed. Its job is to be strong. And that's the whole point, right there.
Seatbelts, helmets, vault doors, just like all those security policies, they're not designed to make you faster. Their job is to keep you and everything you care about safe for when that storm finally hits. Because it will.
Okay, so this brings us to the final piece of the puzzle today. It's about taking all this and actually changing how we think. It's about starting to think less like a frustrated user and more like that wise architect who designed the fortress.
So how do you do that? How do you actually become that wise architect? Well, it's actually simpler than you think. It all starts by changing one simple thing: the questions you ask.
So next time you hit one of those walls, stop. Instead of asking, why is this policy blocking me? Try asking a different question. Ask, what risk is this policy protecting me from? When you make that tiny shift from focusing on the annoyance to understanding the purpose, everything changes. You're not just a user anymore. You're part of the defense.
And I want to leave you with this one last thought. Look, we all want things to be fast. Performance makes users happy, no doubt about it. But security is what keeps companies alive. We have to remember the lesson of the glass palace and the fortress. Because while speed feels great today, it's those strong, deliberate, and yeah, sometimes frustrating layers of security that make sure we all have a tomorrow to log into. They're the silent guardians keeping us safe.
Hi everyone. First of all, thank you for watching this video. My name is Naresh. I am the content creator behind this YouTube channel. I have created a community for Citrix learners where I will be posting a lot of details on Citrix products and how to work in Citrix environments. I'm going to mention the link in the video description, so you can click on that link and you can become part of the community. All right, see you soon. Bye-bye.